portion. Here, after you open up the syllabus from the website, underneath course information, you should bring you to this. It should see Anoka Ramsey Community College concurrent enrollment program through the Coon Rapids campus. You can see the instructor information is up here for your particular instructor, or if this is for me, this is my information right there. There's another link to the class website. Like I've told you before, there are a lot of different links to the class website, and it should bring you right to where you need to go. The office hours are Monday and Wednesday after school. And if you're wondering what office hours are, if you're not familiar, because a lot of this, I know for a lot of you, this is your first college experience. Office hours are times to meet with the professor. That is more pertinent to the college level. I'm pretty much available almost every day before and after, well, usually after school. So if you guys just arrange a time with me, if you need help with studying, that's totally fine. If you just want to walk in too and see if I'm available, that works too. Monday and Wednesdays are technically my office hours though, so I will be there those days. The communication hour, where I'll be like updating your grades and doing other things like that, talking to parents if I have to, is Tuesday after school. So there sometimes is a smaller window for help then. You can see if you scroll down, there's a nice little inspirational quote. Maybe you're reading it right now. If you want to pause, you can also do that. But I'm going to scroll down to the course topics and sequence. You can see if you want like a preview of what's to come throughout this year, you can actually see, the major topics that we'll be covering. Obviously, biology covers in a lot of depth, or a lot more depth than what these 10 topics show, but that's what we're going to be focusing on. All right. If we go down to like the expectations and academic dishonesty, and so you can kind of see what's to come. So I do want to highlight the academic dishonesty portion. Like I mentioned before, you are a student at Anoka Ramsey. You are walking into technically Anoka Ramsey campus when you walk in through the door. That being said, you're also concurrently a student at Mounds View High School. Academic dishonesty, plagiarism, cheating, yada, 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 they're all the same, is going to be reported. So let's say somebody gets caught. Not only do you deal with, Mounds View consequences, it also needs to be reported to the college. That then goes on your academic profile, your permanent academic record. You don't want that. So it's best to just not even give a teacher the opportunity to accuse one of cheating, or it's just not in your advantage to do it. All right. Hopefully we won't have to cross that path, but we will if we have to. Grading. Your semester grade is determined in an 80-20 format, 80% performance, 20% practice, and that's the how it's weighted. What is the practice and performance? You can see that. Where am I getting the 80 from? It's the 15% final, and then the 65% performance, which are like the exams, the tests, final lab reports. The practice section is going to be like practice questions, homework assignments, various labs. What we kind of see is the practice is things that you're building and working on your skills. The performance is, how it showing me what you know. If you think of it from a sporting event, it's, the week of practice is that 20%, but what actually counts is the game, the performance, right? All right. If you look at your letter grades, how they're determined at Mounds View High School, and I mentioned that because I'll be talking about how they're determined at Anoka Ramsey in just a second. Okay, so it's the normal grading scale that you're always used to. Your 93 to 100 is A, 90 to 92, A minus, and so on and so forth. You can see that it's all whole number, aka there's no decimals. There's not like a 79.4. That's because on SchoolView, your grades are rounded already. So if on SchoolView it shows you have an 89, you could be at an 88.5 or an 89.4. It's all going to show up as an 89. That being said, I don't do any rounding at the end of the year or at the semester, because the computer does it for you already. All right. As we scroll down, we'll look at the relearning opportunity policy. What can be retaken and what can't be retaken. The biggest thing, basically anything can be retaken throughout the actual unit. A unit is usually 2 chapters long, around 2 weeks, maybe a little bit more. Little practice questions and some performance quizzes can be redone. I'll let you know which quizzes are actually, most of them always can be redone for more points. Whether it's another quiz and an extra assignment to get those points back, you can redo those. And I think that's to your advantage because, those practices things are showing there's still some gaps in your knowledge. If you could fill in those gaps, we'll give you the points for it. However, it's kind of like, putting in that extra time after practice to get and solidify a skill. Some labs will be considered based on a case-by-case basis, homework, things like that. They can be redone. Okay, the things that can't be retaken are the unit tests, the presentations, the final lab reports. That's because we want you guys to be prepared for like that unit test. You want to practice throughout the entire 2 weeks or those 2 chapters as much as you possibly can so that you're ready and you're ready to go for that performance assessment. And the reason we do this, it's for a couple of reasons. One, it's kind of how the world works. You're not going to get a second chance at that presentation or that business presentation. And 2, it shows you to be responsible. And I think that's a major thing that we need to work on in high school. Anyway, that if you have questions on the relearning policy, I'll explain it again. I can definitely do that. The work turn-in policy, there are 2 major words to recognize here. That's due date and deadline. Due date is the date it's actually due. The deadline is usually like the mark of a unit test, a major performance assessment. Okay, so if you turn it in after the due date, but before like the unit test, it's a 10% penalty. If you turn it in after the deadline, it is not eligible for credit. So keep those dates in mind. Expected homework. Like I've mentioned, you are a college student. That means that there is going to be a higher expectation for homework at night. And the expectation here is about 1 hour. Now, is it always 1 hour every single night? No. Many times the reading only takes 10 to 15 minutes. We'll take a little book tour in a bit, but it's not as much reading. Sometimes it might be a little bit more than an hour. It's the expectation it should be around an hour at night. Okay. A really big way to get yourself in trouble in this class is to not do the reading. Reading is really important in college. It's really important for this class. I have different reading strategies if things just aren't going well, but just make sure you advocate for yourself at this age, and especially considering that you are a college student. It's important to self-advocate, and when you're struggling, let me know. I'm also going to be looking for that and asking, but it's okay to ask for help. Website we've already went through. If you miss a day, I'm also going to I hold you guys to again, because you are a college student, I don't want you guys just to walk in and simply say, what's going on? What I miss? Because you have resources available to you on the course website that what we missed. You know what reading was due. You know what assignments were due because that's all updated. So if you can't find that information, you can always email me. Now, if you're sick, be sick. You don't have to catch up on school, but when you are catching up, work out a plan with me to actually get that work in and ask for clarification. Anyway, you can always study together too for tests and things like that. Work together. Like I said, and like I've mentioned, that we're kind of a team going through this ARC biology journey. So FaceTime, tweet, Snap, whatever you guys need to do, just exchange information. It's better. 2 heads are better than 1. Okay, so I also included the Anoka-Ramsey portion on this syllabus because it's important. What's going to be happening here is you guys are getting 4 college credits at Anoka-Ramsey. Okay, 4 college credits is kind of a big deal. Okay, I'm actually going to pause this then.